Welcome to Miss Sharon's English Language Arts class, where we make connections with social and emotional learning. So, welcome everyone. Thank you for being on time. We have a warm up today of Would You Rather? There's a choice there. And then we'll come back to our lesson and our agenda, which follows pretty much our same format. So, would you rather be a wizard or be a superhero? And your other choice is would you rather live in a cave or live in a treehouse? And you have to say why. Okay, Danny, what's your choice? Oh, live in a treehouse. Okay. Why is that? Oh, okay. You've seen a lot of those shows. So would you build it yourself? Right. And what would you make sure would be a feature that you'd have included in that? Oh, that sounds really nice. Where you could stargaze at night through a skylight? Very nice. Okay. Who wants to do the wizard one? Okay. So, Lizzie, you'd like to what, be a wizard? Why is that? What would you do with those powers? Oh my goodness. Okay. You would cast a spell on your little sister so she wouldn't bother you when your friends are over, huh? Okay, that sounds familiar. How old is she? Oh, she's just a year younger than you, so she wants to hang out with you a lot, right? All right. So, learning about grit might help you gain some ability to be around her, maybe not be so irritated with her. All right, so we're going to go to our agenda right now. And what we're studying today is grit. And we will be doing grit actually for the next 2 weeks. It's a unit. So we'll be spending quite a bit of time on it. It's basically today we'll be answering these essential questions and figuring out what grit is. And we'll be asking that in a little bit. So, essential question. Why is grit necessary for success and how does one develop it? And why do we want characters in stories to have grit? So, the learning objective at the end of today will be basically to explain the 3 components of grit and how it applies to success in life, including fictional and nonfiction characters. All right, so this is our agenda, which pretty much follows our basic practice. It's going to be real interesting, I think, for you guys to look at this today. We're going to be spending some time with famous failures, people that you probably never thought were failures. And we'll have a couple very short videos to kind of give it some more context. And also, there will be closure where we'll do the book widget together, and then you'll do it as homework. But it should be very easy for you. Okay? Any questions so far? All right, you've got it. All right, we're going to find out about grit. Okay, so here's our beginning unit on grit and character. So, how many have heard of this word grit? What are some things you know about grit? Sandpaper's gritty, right? Right, Beth? When you're at the beach, sand is very gritty and you can get it on you, right? It doesn't feel good on the skin, does it? Have you ever heard it in relation to learning? Like, look at some of these visuals here. Who can read some of those? Right. Never give up. Thank you, Tommy. Danny? What about mindset? Can you read that one? Right. So we've learned a lot about mindset. So this grit is another one of those traits that is sort of an extension of growth mindset. So we will be learning that today. So the thing is that grit has to do with challenges. It has to do with really being persistent. So we're going to find out the definition that I prefer using that has 3 components to it. All right. So I'd like some volunteers if you could raise your hand. All right, Lizzie, do you know that word? It's a big one, right? Okay, perseverance. Some people actually do pronounce it that way, but it's perseverance. Okay, good. So perseverance, persistence in doing something even when there is difficulty or delay in achieving success. So that's one component. If you remember this as an acronym, it's going to be P, P, and R. So the first P is perseverance. Perseverance is very much like persistence, and I think we have talked about that. So in the picture, Manuel, what's that picture? Looks like some kind of, right, ninja warrior or kung fu master. Looks maybe like it could be Japan, not really sure, but somebody that has to study for a long time to get skilled in that, right? All right, the second one, who would read that one? This is your second component. This is like making a recipe. Thank you. All right, so, right. So we need passion. We need eagerness, enthusiasm. So do it with passion or not at all. So if you have grit to do something, you need passion, because otherwise you're not going to be interested in finishing it. Let's say you decide you want to be a doctor and you go through all the study that it takes to become a doctor. But if you don't have a passion, that it's like a real strong burning feeling in you that that's something you should do, it's not likely that you're going to really be happy or be successful in that. So this is a component that's sometimes left out with grit, but in fact, the video that we see today, it only has two of the components. It doesn't have really the passion. All right, and Danny, can you read that one? Yes, resilience. Okay, when someone or something recovers quickly from difficult conditions, springs back tough, flexible. What can you say about the picture there? What do you see on that? Right. The plant grew up out of, what does that look like? Really hard mud or maybe concrete or something very difficult for a plant to grow in. There's no other plants around, right? There's a song we'll do later this week by Katy Perry, which is called Resilient. And it's really good about this analogy where she's like, she compares herself to a tree that grows from one little seed, one little crack in the sidewalk. And we'll be doing that in relation to some poetry and lyric writing. So that's our third component. So remember P, P, and R. So I'm going to read this one. So the definition, grit is passion, perseverance, and resilience. Our definition is grit is passion, perseverance, and resilience for long-term and meaningful goals. So it's long-term, something you're going to take a long time to do, like maybe become an athlete, go for the Olympics, study to be a doctor, become a Navy SEAL, something that's going to take a lot of commitment and it has some meaning. It's not like the crazy YouTube videos where people decide to, hey, you want to jump off the roof onto this mattress? That's not really grit. That's more like, I don't know, we'll leave that one alone. So it's the ability to persevere in something you feel passionate about. When you face challenges, you are resilient and are able to recover from them quickly. So like that plant was resilient. It was able to overcome all those obstacles. We often talk about children as being resilient, like really terrible things can happen to them. And we say, oh, children are resilient, so they'll recover. So here we've got the picture of the man going up the mountain and he's finally gotten to the top. So grit is a really good quality to have in life. So we are going to go on to our video now. And again, this video only has two of the components, but it gives you kind of an overview. Okay, so they use the word persistence and we use the word perseverance, but they basically mean about the same thing. So I want you to know both of those words, perseverance and persistence, resilience and passion. So it's actually 4 words. All right, any other things you noticed about it? Right. Yeah, it's very similar. All the components of growth mindset that we learn from challenges, we learn from our mistakes, starting to repeat ourselves, isn't it? They all seem to be very interconnected, don't they? Very good observation, Lizzie. Okay, so now we're going to move on to our famous failures for today, and we are studying Michael Jordan. We'll have some more videos on him tomorrow that give a little bit more about the failure aspect. But for today, we're just going to focus on the reading one. So, Lizzie, could you read that first paragraph? I don't think there's anything in there that's too challenging. It's really a pretty simple paragraph. Read it with some expression. Great. Okay. All right. So he was a businessman, an actor, of course, Air Jordan. He's really known for his shoes. Um, so he had a lot of success, didn't he? Now, the second paragraph, Danny, could you read that second paragraph for me, for us? All right. Interesting. He had four brothers, but everyone thought that the brother named Larry would be the really successful one. So he didn't even make the team the first time. I actually live in North Carolina in Wilmington, and he went to one of the high schools here, Laney High School, and he's since built a big gymnasium for them. All right, so this just gives a little detail. Tomorrow we'll have more information about how he actually failed and what were some of the challenges that he had. All right, so we need to go ahead and move on to the definition about grit and why it's important. All right. Okay, you guys have been doing a really good job. Thank you so much. Okay, so we're going to pretty much wrap this up today, but we need to go ahead and answer the two essential questions. So first of all, what are the three components that make up grit? Who? Lizzie? Remember the three letters? Correct. Perseverance, passion, and resilience. Okay, there's perseverance, passion, and resilience. Okay, who can remember the complete definition? Anyone? Who can remember the complete definition? All right, I'll give you some help on that, all right? So, Manuel, can you read that in red? Good. I like the way you said that. It's passion, perseverance, and resilience for long-term and meaningful goals. So you're not going to quit. Later on, we'll see some little short clips on Navy SEALs, which, don't ring the bell, because when you ring the bell, you give up. So we'll be doing a little bit more of that this week. And the other question is, why is grit important in your life? And why do we want our characters in stories and movies and books to have grit? So let's do the first one first, all right? Why is it important? Greg? Yeah, you've been pretty quiet today. Okay, Greg? Right, because we have to really find something that we're interested in that's worth our time to do in order to have a successful life, isn't it? Okay, very good. And what about the other part? What about having grit, characters having grit? Why is that important? Right, it would be really boring if they didn't have challenges, wouldn't it? They just sat around as a couch potato all day. All right, so we're going to do our book widget real quick, and then we're going to do our book widget right now, and we're going to do it together, and then you will do it before you leave, which will only take you a couple minutes because we would have just rehearsed it. Okay? All right, you guys have done really well today. Any questions or comments? Again, this is only introductory. So this is only introductory. So we'll be working more with this, but I want you to start thinking about this and the examples you see in life and the examples you see in books and stories that we read, why it makes it more exciting and why literature is filled with people. And of course, we've talked about the hero's journey. So a hero has to have some kind of passion and perseverance and resilience to meet the challenges that are in his or her life, right? All right, very good, you guys. Really enjoyed doing this today. So let's get to our book widget now.